Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Startup Central. I'm Avan Dabaj. This is the show that focuses on innovation, tech, as well as all the news in the startup ecosystem. Let's begin then by talking about the healthcare snacking space, and we've got Marico, which has recently acquired a 54% stake in HW Wellness Solutions, which owns True Elements. It's a digital-first brand which plays in the healthy breakfast and snacking segment in the country. Joining in right now to discuss what this means for the company as well as the road ahead is Srijit Mulayal, who's the co-founder and COO, as well as Puru Gupta, the co-founder and CEO at True Elements. Congratulations, great feather in your cap now having Marico, which owns a 54% stake in the company. To start off by telling us what exactly this brings to the table in terms of your future growth strategy now with the backing of a very formidable listed FMCG player.
Thank you. I think it's a good honor for us. I think as a brand, one of the best benefits that anyone aspires is can you be part of the larger ecosystem where you're building an FMCG for the mass consumers and for the country. I think Marico is a stalwart in that with its overall go to market, with its brand building strength. I think it's a great honor for us and a pleasure to really partner with them. As a brand, I believe, no, rather we believe that as we grow, it will be a very strong enabler for us with Marico next to us, enabling, leveraging their ecosystem, helping us as investors, and sort of working together and challenging each other to grow forward. I think that's one of the best things that we are looking forward, because as entrepreneurs, I think it's always an aspiration to be challenged continuously, and I think Marico is one of the best brands to work, best companies to work in that.
Oh, it sure is. And Puru, it was a very conscious strategy that was taken by the company from day one to launch in general trade stores. A lot of the other, companies within that sector, for instance, say Raw Pressery or Epigamia or Wingreens, they were focused on modern trade stores. Why was it a conscious decision not to go down that route?
So I think the fundamental ethos for us is to be capital efficient. No, and since right from day one, I think Shiv and I, we always thought that we have to be in for the long term. We're not doing this to present a story, to raise valuation, to raise larger rounds. I think the objective is how do we make sure the brand reaches out to more consumers, and for that, I think basic cost to serve is essential. And for us, that was a big benchmark, saying if it's going to be very costly to reach the market, then we will not do it right away. And that's why modern trade becomes a very costly channel if the brand pool is limited. And for us, that was a big filter. General trade is more massy. There are low entry barriers, and as it's a tougher job because you have fewer assortments in general trade stores. You have more selling to do with those guys. But I think overall, it helped us to make sure that the scale is much faster and there is more openness to take and try our brands with the general trade store. So, and as we are now growing, as the pull is getting sharper, as the brand is more known across the country, it's just a good way for us, a natural extension for us to now enter the modern trade stores as well.
Srijit, let's talk about expansion plans. Currently present across 12,000 stores. You plan to be in 20,000 stores by the end of FY22. There's plans to enter as well several new categories. And what's the game plan?
Yeah, so in the both front, one is new categories. We have interesting products coming out which are clean, which goes with our tagline, which is food that doesn't lie to you. So there are so many categories where those are actually available for consumers to experiment and live it. So we have few products in breakfast, Indian breakfast and snacks, which will go at our 8, 11, 5 time occasion to consume. So we have few products being launched. But again, the direction would be with Marico on our side. We will have good distribution strength, because Marico is the king in the offline world, both GT and MT. And there we should be able to leverage their decades or years old distribution network and grow the brand, because when entrepreneurs we start, we want the brand to live beyond us. I think for that, that's done, right? We have a good partner in our side, so that's done. Now we need to focus on making it enter houses across India, both tier 1 and tier 2 city fast. So there we will have good help from Marico.
So Puru, given that you all have looked at a very a strategy in order to preserve capital as much as possible, walk us through the kind of financials that the company enjoys. What are the kind of margins that you work with? Have you broken even when it comes to the bottom line? What kind of revenue run rate do you enjoy?
Okay, so I think some of these might not be shareable because now that we are part of a public entity, so no, we should probably hold on to a few things. But fundamentally, I think as you correctly said, being capital efficient, we've always chased an EBITDA positive top line. We've always chased financials which are growing year on year at 100% growth rate. I think that's still the direction for us. Uh, we were last year, and this is publicly available. Last year we did around roughly around 36 FY21, and I think we've just been growing year on year. For us, that growth path is something, because usually what happens at a certain level, you start plateauing, especially in the food space. I think for us that is a big change right now, that we will continue growing at least 100 to 200% year on year and make sure that this space is grown much faster.
And to just add, so we actually haven't spent much on brand. Our journey till day has been more purely on our product strength and our consumer fan following, right? And that also is because we believe, as Puru has quoted, that we want to build a sustainable business, and that's also the reason we have got good amount of interest from almost all leading listed FMCG giants before we chose the partner in Marico, and then saying that should change in the next few months. You'll see a lot of brand related activities coming from our side and more people knowing us as to what exactly True is.
This isn't the first time that FMCG company has acquired a digital-first brand in the foods and beverages segment. In the past, we've seen Emami acquire stake in True Native. There was also Tata Consumer, which acquired stake in Soulful, or had acquired Soulful rather. So just walk us through the kind of outlook in terms of market share, and and what exactly you're targeting, Srijit, in the long haul.
Okay, so again, so our market is, I don't think we are still reached our place where we can talk about market share, because we are available in multiple categories. That's why we define as our consumers are anybody who's eating anything at 8, 11, 5. Okay, so if you are an Indian breakfast consumer, then that's a different market. If you're a Western breakfast, then it's a different market. So for a global, we have a huge market to play around with. But initially, we are focused on Western, and last 6 months we have been looking at Indian breakfast as a category as well. Now, with the help of distribution strength, we'll be able to get our products to more people, and then we can get into the market share reports of biggies, which we were not, because we were playing in a small category.
Puru, so what about the kind of competition, because there are a lot of players within this space now. This has become a very new fad. It seems to be doing well, while it is a bit of a niche market. Take us through how you plan to hold on to market share and alleviate the competition pressures.
So I just in addition to what you just asked, Swagata, MD of Marico, yesterday in one of his posts, he actually mentioned, and that's something I think even Marico mentioned in the last investor call, that they constantly are looking at increasing the total addressable market, or the TAM. I think if I have to just allude to that, our overall addressable market has expanded for us also, because essentially one of the biggest dichotomies we face today is taste and health, right? Where you say that if it has to be tasty, it won't be healthy, and if it has to be healthy, it won't be tasty. For us, that becomes the biggest challenge and the opportunity, that if it is breakfast, if it is snacks, how do we make sure that the full market, I mean, when people buy, they buy for health, and they continue buying for us, buying the brand for taste. I think that for us becomes the biggest market share or biggest market opportunity. And the moment you look at that as a category, that suddenly becomes much wider from a horizon standpoint, saying now we have the full market to look at 8, 11, 5, and then address that market. That largely is the focus area for us. And if we have to sort of build on that, all the innovations, everything that is linked to that is actually based on that innovation.
All right, and just to wrap it up, if you could just walk us through, Puru, the overall market size and of this entire category, and what the growth and long-term plans are. Just a quick word.
Okay, so I think overall, by different estimates, is that total market is still upwards of $10 billion. How you look at it from either directions. There are multiple players entering it, but I think given the next 6 to 12 month outlook, there are still inflationary pressures. There is still going to be, it's not going to be easy for brands to stick around. It's not easy for brands to stop, to make sure that profitable and sustainable business is there. I think we are at the cusp where we have got a big partner for us, with us, to sort of sustain that challenge. We've got a partner who believes in taking a long haul on this, because I think most brands in desperation or in competition, they end up taking very short term calls. I think for us as a brand, we would still continue taking long term calls and make sure that the market size at least becomes double digits in this whole space for us in the next few years.
We wish you all the very best. Thanks much for taking time out and joining us today on Startup Central. Alright, time to shift gears then and focus in on today's listing.